Hi guys, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about different healthy coping skills that any teenager can use in the house. One of my favorite coping skills that I always advise anyone of any age is journaling. But journaling is one of those things that if you've never done it before, you might be lost. Like you might look at a piece of paper, and if you didn't have the words to say out loud for the first time, you might not feel comfortable writing them down either. I'm going to be giving you different techniques to use for journaling because journaling is really just a free expression of thought. So you don't have to feel like there's one set way to do it. There's many ways to journal. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about the benefits of journaling and how it will help you deal with stress, anxiety, and all types of feelings that you might be having, especially right now during this pandemic when you're seeing all these things on the headlines and the news and everybody's just really worried. And that makes you feel things, and it's hard to find the words to express that. So when you think of journaling, I'm just going to name a few different types, and I'm going to give you guys some examples. There's free writing journaling, which is literally just anything that comes to mind. You could write it down on a paper. It doesn't really have to do with your own personal thoughts only. It could be like what you saw today or something you dreamt of. Then there's journaling where you write more or less like your daily routine, like what you did and how it made you feel. Then there's other types of journaling, like making up stories. Maybe it's a story with an individual character that has nothing to do with yourself, but you just feel comfortable writing this story and seeing where it leads you. There's also journaling that you do when you do poetry or blackout poetry, and I'm going to give you guys an example of that. Growing up, I always journaled, but I found out about blackout poetry later on, and basically, when you do blackout poetry, you don't need to be a poet at all, and you just grab any book or story that you've read before, and you strike through the words that you don't want to use and leave the word that means something to you, and that's how you would make a poem. You can cut out this page and put it in your journal, and it would just be a blackout poem. There's also timeline journaling, which is basically you keeping like historic events of your life. And when you look through that journal, you can see where you were from the age of 5 to the age of 30. What major events occurred? How did they make you feel? How did you grow? There's collaging journaling, which is one of my favorites. It's basically where you fill your journal up with a bunch of images of things that were important to you or people, and then you can also make it based off of places that you'd like to go and why you want to go there. How would it be different in your life if you got to go to these places? What would that bring to you? Would it bring you more joy? So that's a different form of collage journaling. Another type of journaling is just gratitude journaling, writing down daily all the things that you're grateful for. This is important because it kind of makes you grounded and realize, like, even in the storm around you, there are good things that maybe you feel that you couldn't live without. Maybe you feel like you're blessed for, maybe you feel like other people don't have enough of, but you do. And it's a good reminder of that. And then there's other types of journaling that you could do. One of my personal favorites to recommend to people is tracking your emotions. So you can use your journal as a log to track what happened today. How did it make you feel? Were there any triggers that might have caused you any type of stress or anxiety? And that way you can kind of understand what sets you apart from day to day when it comes to your emotions. What keeps you happy? What makes you mad? So you can use your journal to track all that information. A journal is another good way to just plan your future. Plan tomorrow. Do a task journal where you just write down, these are the things I have to do tomorrow. These are all the materials I'm going to need. These are all the places I'm going to go. It's a good way to have some clarity and just understand, like, Yes, you might have a lot on your plate. It might be very, very stressful, but your journal is a way that you can look back and say, oh, there's that thing that I forgot. I can do that again at 10 o'clock today because I wrote it down. Now I remember. So those are a few different ways you can use journaling to kind of bring you some more benefits as far as self-regulation, coping, relaxing, and clarity. And I'm going to say a few more, but before I do that, I want to talk about the benefits. So when you think of journaling and you think it's just for yourself, it's just something that you can write and no one else has to see but you, but it's good for conflict resolution. Because let's say there's a conversation you had with a family member or with a friend and it stressed you out and you didn't have the words to talk about it then, or maybe you had so many words but they weren't really expressing the fundamental thought that you had about the experience. Writing all the problem down and reflecting on that problem will help you come up with better solutions and better ways to communicate your feelings. Okay, so that's a good reason why you should journal. Another one is emotional venting. Sometimes you don't actually want to talk about it with anybody, not a therapist or a friend. Sometimes you just want to let it out, but you don't want anybody else to hear. Maybe you feel scared of what they'll think. Journaling is a good way to do that. Journaling also helps with goal setting. So just saying to yourself, in 10 years, I want to be an artist that has her own gallery. Well, how are you going to get there? What are the steps that you're going to take to achieve that goal? You could put that all in your journal. It also helps to just really be able to be creative. So just draw, write, cut pictures out of magazines. You can be free with your journal because it's your own mind on a piece of paper. It's everything you're thinking and feeling. It also helps to reduce stress and anxiety. It helps to feel grounded, to feel like if you have a sense of control, because no one else controls your journal but you, because they're just like your thoughts. It also helps with keeping track of memories. So a lot of times when you face trauma, you have problems with cognition or memory, and you feel like if you can't keep track of your thoughts, writing them down from the moment you wake up to some point throughout the day will help you keep track of all your memories. It helps with just feeling calmer overall and giving yourself daily something to do for self-care for yourself. So you just carve out a little bit of time, you sit down with a cup of tea, you grab your journal, and you do it as much as you want or as little as you want. I know some people that wake up every morning and just grab their journal and write down what they dreamt of that night before. And that helps because sometimes you wake up and you have a night terror and you're thinking like, what was that? What does that mean? Well, you might not get a clear definition of what it meant, but you'll understand your feelings throughout that day. So those are a few of the benefits that I would say that come from journaling. I use sometimes my planner as a form of a journal. So this is a happy planner. And as you see on here, it'll tell you the month. It'll give you a section where you could put birthdays. It'll put your monthly goals on here, which again, really helps with just keeping track of the things you want to do for yourself this month. You also get to put notes on this section and then the top events. Some people use a journal for that. Some people use a planner. I do both actually. And I always find that a journal is representative of who you are. So just buy yourself a journal that calls to you. It could be something like this or something simpler. It could just be a composition book. I know some people that use journaling just to put down any ideas that they have. So like comedians grab a journal and they'll write down a joke. And that's something they can reference back later and think, oh, okay, I need some new material. Let me look back on this. Well, maybe if you're a person that likes to create something, whether it's a painting you could draw in your journal, or whether it's a brand new computer, you could write down all the ideas that you have down in your journal and why you think that those things are good and how you think you could do it. And then you could reference back on that and reflect and build on your ideas. So those are a few of the strategies you can use for journaling, but there are so many more. What I'm going to do is when I finish this video, I'm going to be adding a few of the links for journaling on the bottom. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, or you want more examples of journaling, just let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you.